Not all divorces happen in courtrooms. Some happen in quiet bedrooms where one person packs a bag and the other stares blankly at the wall. Some end not with signed papers but with unread texts, long silences, and a tearful take care before walking away. When a long-term relationship ends, especially one that lasted 5, 7, or even 10 years, it can feel like a divorce. Even if there are no rings, no rituals, no shared last names. Even without legal commitments, the emotional weight of the relationship is real. The breakdown is just as devastating. But society doesn't always see it that way. People expect you to move on faster. There's no formal closure, no court documents, no societal support. Yet inside, you feel the exact same grief as someone who went through a formal separation. Maybe more in some cases because it feels invisible. And it's time we spoke about that. You don't need marriage to build a life with someone. You build it over years of staying up late, talking about your dreams, planning holidays, navigating life's little frustrations, and growing in and around each other. You build it in shared meals, joint bank accounts, emergency contacts, and grocery lists with both your preferences written in. Long-term relationships, by nature, become deeply embedded in our routines and identities. You don't just love the person, you shape your life around them. You consult them before making decisions. You include them in future plans, maybe even future parenting plans. They become your person. And when it ends, it's not just the loss of love, it's the collapse of an emotional system. You are no longer checking in every evening or texting about random things during the day. The good morning and good night messages stop. The emotional habit of being tethered to someone disappears overnight. That emotional investment, all the care, time, energy, and intimacy, doesn't dissolve just because the relationship ended. That kind of attachment, especially over years, rewires the brain. And now, without warning, your system has to rewire itself all over again. Love is a chemical cocktail. Oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, your brain gets used to the regulation that comes from secure long-term emotional bonding. The relationship becomes a coping mechanism, a comfort system, a safety net. When a long-term relationship ends, it's not just emotional heartbreak. It's a form of psychological withdrawal. You miss the predictability of their voice, the comfort of their smell, the way they knew how to calm you down when you spiraled. And perhaps, most deeply, you miss the fact that they understood you. You didn't need to explain yourself over and over. They knew your past, your fears, your history. There's an immense safety in being known. And when you lose that, it creates an emotional void. This is why you feel like you are falling apart. You're not just grieving them, you are grieving the version of yourself that existed with them. That sense of being known and loved. And it can feel like you are starting your identity all over again. One of the hardest parts about long-term breakups is how society minimizes the grief. There are no rituals for breakups. No one brings you food. You don't get time off from work. There's no public recognition of your loss. People just say things like, at least you weren't married, or now you are free. But they forget something important. Freedom doesn't feel good when it's forced on you, when you didn't want the breakup, when you weren't ready, when your body is still aching for the person who left. And here's the other truth. Sometimes, even when you ended it, it still hurts like hell, because ending something doesn't mean you stopped loving. It just means you saw the truth and acted on it, and that doesn't make the grief disappear. What makes it worse is that people around you expect the healing to be quick. They assume a breakup is easier than a divorce. But the heart doesn't grieve based on legal status. It grieves based on loss, and a long-term relationship carries just as much weight as any marriage. Then there's the practical side. In a marriage, there's a system in place for separation. Courts, paperwork, alimony, custody. You may hate the process, but it gives structure to the chaos. In a long-term breakup, there is no structure. You are left to sort everything on your own. Who gets the apartment? Who moves out? What happens to the pet you both adopted? Do you cancel the trip you booked together? Do you explain the breakup to friends separately or together? There's confusion, awkwardness, sometimes bitterness, and above all, exhaustion. You are dividing a life that was built together, piece by painful piece, without any guidance or support, and in many cases without the societal recognition that what you are going through is real and hard and emotionally wrecking. It becomes a quiet chaos, a breakup that behaves like a divorce but is treated like a phase. What follows a long-term breakup is a deep, lingering loneliness that echoes through every corner of your life. Weekends, which were once filled with shared plans and the comfort of companionship, suddenly stretch endlessly and feel unbearably empty. You wake up to the quiet absence of someone you have known intimately for years. No one waiting for you in the kitchen or sharing a cup of tea. The simple joy of making breakfast for someone else or having someone beside you in bed vanishes, leaving a hollow space where warmth used to be. Your phone, once a constant connection, feels painfully silent. Even your favorite songs, which used to bring comfort or memories of better times, suddenly become unbearable reminders of what's lost. You find yourself talking to them in your mind, sharing thoughts, secrets, or daily observations that you have no one else to tell because they were always the one who understood you completely, without judgment or confusion. But now they are gone. And with their absence comes a crushing silence that is much more than just the physical absence. It's the absence of being truly known, of being emotionally understood in a way no one else quite can. Friends try to fill the space, and family offers their support, but no one quite fits the unique shape of the person you lost. This loneliness cuts deep because it comes with the painful awareness that you once had something rare and beautiful. A daily intimacy, a private language, a shared emotional shorthand, all of which now feels erased. And that is what makes the loneliness not just sad, but heartbreakingly profound. Even after months, sometimes even years, the emotional aftershocks of a long-term breakup can unexpectedly hit you like a tidal wave. You might be scrolling through social media when suddenly you see a photo of your ex smiling with someone new. The image stings more than you expected, stirring up memories and emotions you thought you had tucked away. Or maybe you hear a song you both once loved, and the melody pulls you back into moments filled with both joy and heartbreak. Passing by a restaurant where you celebrated an important birthday together can trigger a sudden rush of pain, catching you off guard. Grief is not a straight line. It comes in unpredictable waves, sometimes crashing over you when you least expect it. Even at moments when you believe you have finally moved on. In those moments, doubt creeps in. You begin questioning your self-worth and your judgment. You wonder if you'll ever be able to trust and love again. You ask yourself hard questions. Did I miss the warning signs? Was I too giving? Am I doomed to repeat the same pain? That invisible scar lingers, shaping how you approach love in the future, often slowly, cautiously, and sometimes with a guarded heart, afraid to fully open up. Personally, I believe that long-term breakups represent one of the most silent and overlooked forms of heartbreak that many people endure. Unlike divorces, which often come with ceremonies, legal proceedings, and societal recognition, these breakups tend to happen quietly, without much fanfare or acknowledgement. There are no sympathy cards, no friends organizing gatherings to console you, no official milestones marking the end of what was once a deeply intertwined life. And yet, the pain, the grief, and the emotional devastation are just as real and profound. When you invest years, sometimes nearly a decade or more, of your life, your love, and your identity into someone else, the end of that relationship leaves a wound that doesn't care about legal documents or social validation. The grief that follows is genuine and deserves to be seen, heard, and honored. It deserves space to be felt, acknowledged, and respected. You loved deeply. You tried with all your heart. You lost something precious, and now you are healing in your own time, in your own way. And that process, the rawness, the struggle, and ultimately the strength it takes to rebuild yourself is incredibly brave. It is a testament to your resilience and to the human capacity to recover from even the most profound losses. If this truth resonates with you, please don't hesitate to share your own story in the comments. What helped you in your healing journey? What do you wish someone had told you when you were going through your breakup? Your voice can help others feel less alone and create a space where healing is possible, free of shame, judgment, or comparison. Let's build this community of compassion and understanding together. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Until next time, be gentle with your heart. It has been through so much and it deserves all the care you can give. I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep glowing.